Hello everyone, this is my second lecture on operation research. In this second lecture we are going to see algebraic method to solve linear programming problem. In the first lecture we saw linear programming problem by using graphical method, right? Now we are going to use the algebraic method to solve the same problem, and we'll see how a algebraic method and graphical method are interrelated to each other and how do we get the solution, and we will compare both of them side by side. So if you don't remember, I will once again give the question, read the questions. So this is the question. A manufacturer has option to produce two products A and B. By producing product A, he'll get a profit of rupees 10 per piece. Similarly, by manufacturing product B, he'll get a profit of rupees 9. But limitations are there to produce or manufacture product A. Two units of raw material R1 is needed and 6 units of raw material R2 is needed. Similarly, to produce product B, 4 units of R1 is needed and 3 units of R2 is needed. But R1 and R2 are limited in my stock, right? In the manufacturer stock. So R1, there are total 8 quantities of R1 and 12 quantities of R2. So what should I select? How much A should I manufacture and how much B should I manufacture so that my total profit is increased? So this was the solution, and we get a point 1.3 and 1.3 by solving with the help of graphical method, right? And the total objective function which I got is, by putting x and y as 1.3, is 24.7. So we have actually skipped this part in the previous lecture. I have not calculated this. So in this lecture I have calculated and gave you the value, that is 24.7. Okay, so now what is algebraic method? So algebraic method means we are not going to draw any graph or plot any line. Without that, how can I find the answer? Because see, many of you will say, sir, this is very easy because these two lines, this is the point, right? And these two lines uh, intersect at this point. So we can find the intersection by solving these two lines to get the optimum solution. But these two lines intersect, that I know because I have drawn the graphical method, right? If I am not drawing anything, so how will I know that this is the optimum point, right? So to solve these type of problem without drawing anything, we can use with the help of algebraic method. So see, now I have written again the two constraints in objective function, right, with non-negativity restriction. First step that we have to do in algebraic method is to solve for constraint 1 and 2, but the problem is both the constraints are in inequality, right? So we have to convert these into equations. So how to convert this into equation? See, x1 and x2 is less than or equal to 8, right? So I will add something so that this become equal to 8. Similarly, 6x1 plus 3x2 is less than or equal to 12. If it is equal to 12, then I'll add 0. If not, if it is less than 0, then I'll add some value, right? So basically, I'll add variables over here in both the constraints so that it becomes an equation, right? Those variables are called as slack variable. And the only difference that I did in algebraic method is, rather than using variables x and y, I have used x1 and x2, right? Because there are 4 variables and x, y, z, a, b, c, d will become difficult to me, so I have used x1, x2, x3, x4, right? So x1, x2, and similarly in objective function x1, x2. So I will be introducing two slack variable which will make this inequality to equations like here. So now we can see 2x1 plus 4x2 plus x3 will become equal to 8, right? Similarly, plus x4 will make it equation equal to 12. Now see, both the slack variables should be greater than or equal to 0. Why? If it is less than 0, then what will happen? Or that means if it is negative, then if it is negative, then once again see here, if it is negative, right, so it will reduce this number, and if it is going to reduce this number, then in this case this is more than it, then only by reducing with the help of x3 this will make equal to 8, right? So that will not satisfy this constraint if x3 is negative, right? So x3 has to be positive or 0, right? If it is 0, then this is equal to 8. If it is positive, then maybe this will be less than 8. Then having positive will make an equation, right? So x3 and x4 both should be positive or 0. So all the variables are equal to 0 or greater than 0. Now one question is, do they contribute to the objective function? Since I have written over here, right? So do they contribute in the profit maximization? Suppose I get an optimum solution, I get value of x3 and x4 as some unit. So are they going to change the objective variable, objective function or not? So let us see. Basically no, right? So this is my objective function. So 10x plus 9x, 10x plus 1 plus 9x2 was my objective function. Now all these slack variable have zero effect on objective function, so I have assigned a coefficient 0, right? So if I put any value of x3 and x4, it is not going to change the objective function. So why I put a coefficient 0? Let us see. I will again go here. See, yesterday in the last lecture we saw that this point is under the boundary, inside the boundary, right? So this satisfy all the constraint, and this point is 1 comma 1, 1 comma 1, right? So what if I take 1 comma 1 here? See, x1 1, x2 1, right? So 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 is not equal to 8, that means x3 will be 2, right? Similarly 6 plus, if it is 1 comma 1, so 6 plus 9, right, which is 12, 6 plus 9, 6 plus 3 is equal to 9, right? Again then x4 will be 3, so that it equates to 12, right? So x3 I got is 2 and x4 as 3. Why x3 2 and x4 3? If I take a point 1 comma 1, this point 1 comma 1, see, by using 1 comma 1 I know that this is not an optimum solution, right? So if I use 1 comma 1, x3 and x4 will be 2 comma 3. Now 1 comma 1 signifies that the solution is not optimum, means the resources are underutilized, right? Because we can produce more also. So this, by taking 1 comma 1, x3 and x4 will basically give me the value that how much resources are unutilized. So this represents the unutilized resources, right? So basically 2 and 3, 2 units of R1 and 3 units of R2 are still being left and not used in manufacturing process to optimize the to maximize the profit, right? So x3 and x4 are unutilized resources, and in optimum solution always we will not have any unutilized resources. That's why they are not going to basically take part in the objective function. So that's why I have assigned a coefficient of 0, right? Now we'll start solving. See, now what do we need to do? There are 4 variables, as we know, x1, x2, x3, x4, right? And there are only 2 equations. Now how can I solve this? Because solving 4 variables of 2 equation is not difficult. We can't find anything. So since there are 2 equations, so I need only 2 variables, right? So what I can use, or what strategy I can use is, I can put the rest 2 variable to some amount, fixed amount, and then find this x1 and x2, right? So they basically, I will assign this as some number, then find these two, then this x2 x3 as some number, x1 x4 I will find. Similarly, then this I will assign some number x1 x2 I will find. So similarly, what I will do is I will assign some fixed number to x1 x2, and then I will find the next two variables, right? So as in this way I will find all the different type of solution by putting some other number to these variables, right? So in this way I'll get all the combination of all the variables one by one. So okay, we'll start solving, but before solving, before starting ahead, uh, I will like to tell you that now I have to assign some number to them, right? So what is the best possible number? Obviously it will be 0, because it will make our calculation very easy, right? So see, so to solve for x3 and x4, what I'll do is I'll solve x3 and x4 first, but for that put x1 and x2 as 0, right? So I'll put, to solve for x3 and x4, I'll put x2, x1 and x2 0. Similarly, for to solve for x1, x3, I'll put x2 and x4 as 0, right? To solve for x2, x4, I will take x1 and x3 as 0. To solve for x1, x4, x2 and x3 as 0. Then to solve for x1, x2, x3 and x4 as 0. And to solve for x2 and x3, x1 and x4 as 0. So in this way, I'll find all combinations of all variable with the answer. So see, put x1 and x2 as 0. So x1 and x2 0 0. x3 is 8, 0 0, x4 will be 12. So x3 is 8, x4 is 12. I got this. Now second is x1 and x3 को solve करना है, right? By putting x2 and x4 as 0. So x2 as 0, x2 x4 as 0. So x2 x4 as 0, so I'll get x1 as 3, sorry, 6 and 12, so 2, right? So if I put x1 as 2, x2 as 0, so x1 as 2, so to do 4, x3 will be 4. So in this way I have calculated everything. x1 x3 0, x1 and x3 0, x2 will be 2, right? 4x2 is equal to 8, so x2 will be 2, 8 divided by 4, so x2 2 6, and x1 and x3, so this is 0, 6, 6 3 is 18, x4 will minus 6, right? So I can find out, so x2 is 2, right? So 6, 12 minus 6 is 6, this. So in this way, when I solve for x1 and x4 by putting x2 x3 0, I'll get 4 and x4 as minus 12. In the same way, x1 is 1.33, x2 is 1.33, and similarly x2 as 4 and x3 is minus 8, right? Now this minus, if you can see, initially we have a non-negative restriction that x3 and x4 should be greater than or equal to 0. Now if I am getting answer as minus like this, sorry for inconvenience. So this is minus and this is minus, right? So since these two are minus, we are not going to find the optimum objective function for these values, because this is infeasible solution, right? Minus is not possible. Now look at the solution. So since I put value of two variable as 0 and find the other two, now putting the value of that other two variables in the objective function to find the value of objective function. So first was putting x1 x2 as 0, x3 as 8, x4 as 12. So since you know that the importance or the effect of x3 and x4 in objective function is basically 0, so it doesn't matter how many big value I will get here, right? Basically it is not going to increase the value of objective function, because objective function depends only on x1 and x2, my non-basic variable, and x3 and x4 are basic variables, right? Because these are temporary variable which we have created to make inequality to equations, right? So these are called as x3 and x4 as basic variable, and x1 x2 which are my primary or primary variable, it is also called as non-basic variable. So always remember basic and non-basic variable. x1 x2 non-basic variable, x3 and x4 a slack variable is also called as basic variable, right? Then second was by putting x2 x4 as 0, I'll get what I got is x1 as 2, x3 as 4, right? So by putting that value in the objective function, I got the value of objective function as 20, right? Third, by putting x1 and x3 as 0, x2 2 and x4 6, I got the value of objective function as 18. Next was minus, so we don't need to calculate. I'll get the objective function, I'll get some objective function because x4 as 0, so 10 into 4 40, but since x4 can't be negative, so that's why this is an unfeasible or infeasible solution. Next one was by putting x3 and x4 slack variable as 0, find x2, x1 and x2, right? So in that way I'll get 1.3, 1.3 and z is 24.7. Next one was x1 as 0 and x4 as 0, x2 I got is 4 and x3 is minus 8, right? So again, since it is minus 8, not feasible solution. So see, I got these 4 feasible solution out of 6, and these 2 as are not feasible solution or infeasible solution, right? So if I take the value of an x and y for these 4 solutions, so 0 comma 0, 2 comma 0, 0 comma 2 and 1.3 comma 1.3, right? So these 4 points, if you see carefully, then these 4 points we have seen somewhere. See, this is point number 1, this is point number 2, this is point number 3, and this is point number 4, right? So this is how an graphical method and algebraic method are related. Algebraic method will also give me the same values as a graphical method. The only difference is I can't see it, right? But without seeing it also I can find the maximum objective function value of objective function. So see, these are the points which we have seen on the graphical method, right? So in this way algebraic method works. Now there are some points which need to be known as of now, since we know the non-basic and basic variables, okay? Now see, we need some steps. Algebraic method is very good method, and as of now if you say simplex method is invented on the basis of algebraic method, but there are some modifications which are done, right? Because algebraic method is a pretty laborious or lengthy method. So to find one objective function, maximum objective function, what I need to do is I need to do permutation of 2 variables, right? So every time I need to calculate different values, first this, then this, and the 5th attempt I came to know that this, not on the 5th attempt, after 6th attempt I can say that this is the optimum value. So I have to calculate everything, so it is a lengthy process. So a simplex was invented. Now in this method, simplex method, what will be the benefit is, so we'll start in the same way like algebraic, but as soon as I get an optimal solution, the system will tell me that you don't need to go further. This is the optimum solution, right? In algebraic method we don't know, but in simplex method, this is the case. So in simplex method, the value of objective function increases serially, right? So first in simplex method also, iteration by iteration, I'll get the value. Initially I get 0, then I'll get 18, right? Then I'll get 20, then I'll get 24.7. So I have skipped one step with the help of simplex method. So that is the main application of simplex. Apart from that, what is the difference between graphical and simplex algebraic method? Sorry. See, graphical method has the limitation to solve for values which for equations which have only two variables, right? Like in this case x and y, because if we have three variables x, y and z, so in that case, suppose I need to manufacture three, I have three option of three product A, B and C to manufacture. Then in that case, what will happen? X, Y and Z, because the number of product that Z need to be manufactured is Z, right? That C to be manufactured is Z. So basically in three variable, what we need to do is we need to draw another line, but that can't be happen in this paper, because the, right. So 3D geometry is needed, and if we have 4, then we can't draw it at all via graphical method. So graphical method on paper is suitable only for two variables, not more than two variables. And when the variable increases more than two, then we can use algebraic method, right? An advanced algebraic method, which is also called as simplex method. So that's the application. So I will sum up the algebraic method in this way, that algebraic method is only applicable for problems which have more than two variables. Two variables we can solve it with the graphical method, and if there are more than two variables we can't solve by a graphical method, then we have to use algebraic method. The steps for the algebraic method is to first convert an inequalities into equation by adding slack variables. After adding slack variable, now our variable quantity is going to get increased, right? So we are going to use trial and error method in this way to calculate the value of objective function. But before that, what we are going to do is we are going to solve these two equations to get the value of all the variable. Since there are there will be more variables and less equations. So in that way, we will put some of the variables as 0 and solve for another variable. So in this way, there are 6 ways in 4 variable and 2 equations. If there is 4 variables and 2 equations, then we will get 4C2 ways. 4C2 means 6 ways, right? So there are 6 ways, these 6 ways, and we'll get 6 answer. And after this 6 answer, we'll solve for each 6 answer to calculate the objective function, and the maximum Z value will give me the optimum solution, right? So here you can see the value is 24.7, the same which we got in the graphical method, and the value of x1 and x2 is 1.3, 1.3, right? So both are interrelated to each other or designed in the same way. So in this way, algebraic method can be used to solve more than two variable problems in linear programming formulations. So I would like to tell you one more thing. This is not related to algebraic method, guys. See, to solve any linear programming problem, this is the fixed step that we are going to use. But the main problem that comes is to formulate the given problem. So the problem will be in words, right? So I need to manufacture product A, B and C. I have limited amount of resources R1 and R2 in such numbers, right? Profit of product A, B and C would be 10, 9 and 8 rupees. So this problem we need to formulate in the equations, like we need to make constraint, we need to make objective function. So that is the main part that operation research person can have to do, right? So formulation is the biggest part for operation research. Once you formulate everything, clearly, you have the constraint clearly, you have the objective function, you have the decision variable identified, then there is no big issue, because the problem for operation research will be same, the steps would be same, but formulation is not going to be same, it is going to change with every problem. So always remember, try to solve more and practice more and more problem, because that will increase your capability to formulate every problem, right? So thank you very much for seeing this video. Bye.